Greetings, good morning, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being, and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side, every day you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here every day in The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 32 years of practicing pharmacy, I've seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like acne, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we are here for you. We welcome your phone calls on The Bright Side at 844-236-6010. If you have a comment or success story you'd like to share, questions about ingredients or formulations, 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lines open for you this morning. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products, go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team off the websites by clicking on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. You can also call 866-735-2470 for more information, 866-735-2470. And please check out our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com. We've got new products up, including our retinol roller, cute little roller ball for dabbing on pimples or blemishes. If you dab it on the blemish early enough, you don't even get the blemish. If you don't dab it on early enough, and you get the blemish, it will heal much faster. You can use it for bug bites. You can use it for fine lines and wrinkles. You can use our retinol roller for hyperpigmentation and dark spots. Retinol spot treatment, i.e. retinol roller, is available at truthtreatments.com. It's made with vitamin C, vitamin A in the retinol form, medium chain triglycerides, vitamin E, and salicylic acid. Just 5 ingredients in our Truth Retinol Spot Treatment, retinol roller. And that's the way I like to formulate. Without a lot of ingredients, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth Skin Health products. They're all available at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. Okay, welcome back to The Bright Side. We've been talking about the invisible world. I love, it's just to me, it's so fascinating what we don't see that leads to what we do see. The electrical world. I hope it's not getting too abstract or abstruse, because it really is a very powerful place to live your life from, at least when it comes to supplementation. In the world of skincare, I formulate products that are electrically active. Understanding the power of electricity and understanding the power of electricity when it comes to nutrition, I formulate skincare products that are electrically viable. One of the big problems with skincare products today is the waxes, and not just today, since they were first developed, is the waxes and the rancid fats and the preservatives and the solvents. These are all ways of disrupting chemistry, disrupting electrical energy. What you want in a skincare product is a skincare product that will channel and direct electrical energy and supply electrical energy in the form of electrons. That's why my True Skin Health products, many of my True Skin Health products are formulated with fulvic polyelectrolytes, with polyelectrolyte minerals as a source of electrons. Anyway, understanding electricity is a really powerful place to be, but it's invisible. You can't see it. We can't see electricity. At best, we can see the sparks, which are kind of like, well, I guess you could see the effects of electricity. The sparks are the effects of the electricity. Light is the same way. You can't see light. We Interestingly, we can't see light, but everything we see is light. How does that work? You can't see light, but everything we see is light. That's because everything we see is the end result of the effects of light. We see the effects of the light bouncing off of things. Everything we see is just the effects of light bouncing off of things. And so we don't even really see the world. We just see the reflection of it. We just see the bouncing off of it. It's like we're getting a playback in our heads, the way a cassette tape plays back sounds, or a CD plays back sounds. When you talk into a microphone and it gets recorded on a CD and then you play it back, you're not hearing the voice, you're hearing a imitation of the voice. And that's how the world is. We don't see the world, we see an imitation of the world or a reflection of the world. And that's kind of interesting right there. We don't see the world, we just see a reflection of the world. And even more so, we don't really see a reflection of the world, we just see the electrons. And then our brain rearranges it. Everything we see is a rearrangement of electrical energy in our brain. That is pretty wild. That gives you a lot of control over how you see the world because it's all happening in your brain anyway. Such are the mysteries of the universe. And by understanding all of these crazy, wild, abstract ideas, we're basically getting in touch with the invisible world. We're basically getting in touch with the divine world. We're basically getting in touch with the highest of the high, the spiritual world, when we talk about all these abstract ideas. And in a world that is electrical, a universe that's electrical, it should be no surprise that we're electrical too. Our physical bodies are electrical. And that means if you want to be healthy, you've got to upregulate electrical energy. You've got to figure out a way to jack up your body's electrical energy. Everything is electrical. And when we talk about nutrition, we talk about food, we're talking electricity. Food is electricity. And the nutrients in food direct the electricity. And it all begins with the periodic table, which we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. Hopefully, you guys aren't tuning out on the periodic table because it's really important, and I'm trying to make it really easy to understand. It's the elements on the periodic table, every one of those boxes on the periodic table, that light bounces off of and then hits our eyes where it's interpreted. This is insight. Insight meaning you're seeing inside. And it can help smooth out the rough edges of our lives. This whole idea that everything is electrical, it's all about the periodic table. And we've been the substances that we've been talking about now for the last, month or so, the minerals are really nothing more than combinations, either homogeneous combinations, that is just one box, or a bunch of different boxes put together. Minerals as we know them, the typical minerals that we think about, I should say rocks, not minerals, but the rocks we think about when we think about minerals. Most of us think of rocks. We don't really think about metals, even though metals are minerals. Most of us think about rocks. Rocks are just a bunch of different heterogeneous atoms stuck together, different atoms stuck together. When they're all the same, we call them metals. Most of the periodic table is metals. The metals are kind of confusing. That's why you get all this nonsense about heavy metals. People freak out when they hear the term heavy metals. If you've been listening to this program, now you know heavy metals are, at least some of them, are nutritional. For plants, most of them are nutritional. How do you like that? For us, we say that there's about 8 or 9 of them that are nutritional. Chromium, vanadium, iron, cobalt, molybdenum, manganese. These are the weird ones. These are the ones that bounce around back and forth. For a plant, however, all the heavy metals are important. All of the elements are important. It's hard to believe when all of the elements, all of the heavy metals are important for plants, that they're not all important for a human being. That's just as an aside. This is Dr. Wallach's insight. He's like, you know what? A plant needs all of these things. It's pretty much a sure thing that we need all these things too. These heavy metals that are found in the soil, by the way, are easily rinsed away by runoff. This is a big problem, runoff and irrigation and the washing away of these really important trace elements, which, while you may get some debate, I'm not debating it, but other people might debate that they're all important, that they're not all important for humans. They are definitely 100% all important for plants. We'll continue when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll return right after this. Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben, and we have lots of lines open at 844-236-6010. Longevity products can be had at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can also click on the Join the Team link on the websites to sign up to join the Brightside Ben team. For a one-time $25 fee, you can be in business for yourself or just get your products at the wholesale price if that is all you want. You can build a business or just get some really high-end nutritional supplement products at a really good price. Go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com and click on the Join the Team link. You can also call 866-735-2470 for more information. Two really cool books, by the way, if you're interested in some of this craziness about electricity. The Electric Universe by Wallace Thornhill and The Electric Sky by Donald E. Scott. These are books that have lots of pictures in them, and they're very easy to read, and they're basically kind of the idea, which is a somewhat radical idea, that we live in an electrical universe. This Russian scientist, Immanuel Velikovsky, Velikovsky, wrote a book, he wrote a lot of books, but he wrote some papers about the idea that we live in a fabric of electricity, and that what we attribute and the characteristics we give to gravity and other forces is really just electrical, which is kind of an interesting theory. And very relevant when it comes to nutrition because of the minerals, which are highly, highly electrical. Now, if you look in the periodic table, not all the boxes are going to seem like they're relevant to our health, but they're definitely relevant to a plant's health. There's no doubt about that. It turns out that plants that have all of the so-called heavy metals, all of the trace elements, that's another word for these metals, these heavy metals, is trace elements, make more flavonoids, make more carotenes, make more phytonutrients. They're healthier for us. They're better for the animal, and they're better for the plant. These compounds that we call phytonutrients that are found in plants, and they're why we should be eating our plants and eating our vegetables, these compounds are plant defense molecules. These plant defense molecules have wonderful nutritional benefits for us, not to mention the vitamins that are in the plants, and pretty much everything in the plants. Everything in the plant that's good for us will be produced in much greater abundance when the plant has ytterbium and neodymium and all the other of the 100 and probably about actually there's probably about 90 or so of these elements, essential elements. I don't know, maybe even more. I don't even really know how many there are. Some of them are man-made. Obviously, those are not on the periodic table. Those are not nutritionally relevant. But most of them are nutritionally relevant for a plant. But here's the problem: you can still grow a really good plant without these heavy metals. You don't need to have these heavy metals to grow a plant. I shouldn't say a good plant. You can grow a plant. It may not be a good plant, but all you really need is what are called NPK: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Plant may need the entire periodic table to be maximally healthy, and to be maximally healthy for us to eat. Plants that have all these heavy metals are going to have more proteins, more vitamins, more defense molecules, more of everything they make better for better food. But NPK is really all you need to grow a plant. You're not going to get the good stuff. You're not going to get all the vitamins. You're not going to get all the proteins. You're not going to get all the bioflavonoids, but you get a plant. And because a lot of these molecules are defense molecules, you're going to need to use a lot of pesticide on your plant that doesn't have the heavy metals to make the defense molecules. So not only is the plant that uses the NPK fertilizer going to be kind of like an empty vessel, it'll be growing, you'll get a vessel, but you're not going to get a lot of nutritional value out of it. But even worse, these kinds of plants need more pesticides. Oh, even worse, not only is the pesticide toxic for us, the pesticide is toxic for the bacteria that live in the soil, which means now you have even sicker plants and weaker plants and less healthier plants, which means you need more fertilizer. You need more fertilizer and you need more pesticide. This is the downward spiral of our crappy food model. And that's why, even if you're eating organic, even if you're a vegetarian, even if you're trying to pay attention to what you eat, you're still breathing and drinking and eating all this crap that's sprayed on the food, that's sprayed on the vegetables, and the vegetables that you're eating have been weakened and made less healthful and less valuable. Smart gardeners and smart farmers will always add trace elements to the soil. They've been doing this for centuries, for eon, for millennia, since soil farming began. That's what plowing is. Plowing is really tilling the soil. Plowing it is really a way of activating and dispersing minerals with oxygen. There's all kinds of stuff in the soil that needs to be shaken up in order for it to be activated. One of these things is called worm castings. Worm castings, vermicast, is what the scientific name is, verm for worm. Worm castings are worm poop, but it's really a highly nutritional secretion that worms add to the soil, and this highly nutritional secretion is largely made up of activated minerals. Microbes in the soil do the same thing. Bacteria in the soil do the same thing. When you shake this thing around while you're plowing it and you combine it with oxygen, you activate the minerals. It supercharges the soil. It supercharges the plants. Earthworm secretion, that's kind of interesting that earthworms, these lowly little creatures, can create these powerful organic fertilizer, highly nutritional organic fertilizer, a growth promoter. Worms, the humblest little worm, produces the most powerful growth promoters. Likewise, microbes, bacteria in the soil. You get more stuff out of a worm because a worm has got more cells to produce stuff out of, so you get proteins, you get a lot of stuff from the worms, but all kinds of soil microbes in general. You could even consider some of these worms to be microbes. There's microscopic worms. In any case, manure is another one, by the way. Manure is another way to add soil, and as it turns out, microorganisms, add minerals to the soil, but also microorganisms, compost, fish meal, liquid seaweed. That's another great one. There's all kinds of ways that you can add nutritional value to the soil, but we don't do that, at least from an industrial point of view. We add chemicals to the soil, nasty chemicals, deadly chemicals that not only on their own mess up our bodies and mess up our environment, but because they produce less healthy plants, they add to our health misery. Yes, pesticides and fertilizers and soil add to our health misery in so many ways, not even to mention the deadly toxicity of the stuff, the glyphosate itself, but the net effect on our food quality cannot help but damage our overall health, culturally speaking. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. 844-236-6010. Got lines open. We'll take a break and come back with more good health information on the bright side right after this. We are back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Got lines open, 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010, and we'll get your calls here momentarily. Hang on if you're on hold. Got lots of lines open. If you want to purchase the longevity products, go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. We've got blog posts, news stories, videos, lots of good health information. I have a new video coming out that I did on MSM. That should be out in the next few days. I did one a couple weeks ago on eczema. That's up at criticalhealthnews.com. And don't forget to check out our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com. Truthtreatments.com. Nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth treatments. Got new products up. We'll have new products coming out periodically over the next few months at truthtreatments.com if you're interested in mega high-end pharmaceutical quality. I developed all these products in my pharmacy. Skincare. You want to look at our truthtreatments.com, our truth treatments at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. All right. This is a very interesting article from, where is this thing from? I don't even know where it's from, but I'm reading it in the Townsend Letter. If you guys want to get a really easy to understand, fully packed with information, monthly report on all the goings-on, the latest goings-on in the world of clinical and alternative medicine. The Townsend Letter is a really awesome source of wonderful information. A lot of the information that I talk about in this program I get from the Townsend Letter, Townsend, townsendletter.com. It's a little clinical. It's definitely designed for people who are at least understand a little bit about how the body works. Anyway, this is from the Townsend Letter. H. pylori bacteria in Crohn's disease. H. pylori bacteria is a bacteria that is known to be the principal cause of ulcers and gastritis and stomach issues. Now, it turns out that H. pylori may be related to Crohn's disease. According to Zun Zhang et al., they point out that H. pylori in CD, in Crohn's disease, should serve as an important reminder to clinicians when considering eradication. In other words, using antibiotics is what these guys are suggesting. I don't know necessarily that I buy into using antibiotics to kill H. pylori, because you kill everything with antibiotics. But what you can do is you can use good bacteria to balance out the bad bacteria. H. pylori can be balanced out by probiotics. That's the best way to deal with chronic bacterial infections. Not necessarily acute bacterial infections. If you have an acute infection, you need an antibiotic. That's just that's kind of an emergency. But for chronic bacterial infections, long-term use of antibiotics is not a good idea. What you want to do is you want to reestablish gut flora. You want to treat chronic infections, whether you're talking about Lyme disease or H. pylori or any other kind of chronic infection, as a sign that you want to be building your immune system, not killing things. I've heard people talk about using antibiotics for rheumatoid arthritis. This is not a good idea. They'll say, oh, well, there's a bacteria that's involved. You take the antibiotic and it kills the bacteria. Well, listen, yeah, there may be a bacteria involved, but not primarily. That's not the cause of it. The cause of rheumatoid arthritis and the cause of autoimmune diseases is not bacterial, although that may be involved secondarily. If you take an antibiotic to get rid of a chronic infection, what you're doing is you're knocking out your body's immune system. It's not a good idea. And if you are on antibiotics, and if you have to take a course of antibiotics, as soon as you can start loading up with probiotics, you want to start loading up with them. And it could take years, by the way, to get back to where you want to be, especially the way we eat. Not only do we take, antibiotics intentionally, but there's antibiotics in our water, there's antibiotics in our fish, there's antibiotics in our dairy, there's antibiotics everywhere. Most antibiotics, the vast majority of antibiotics that are used in this country are used on animals. So even if you're not taking antibiotics, it's hard to believe that the antibiotics aren't everywhere. That's the thing about our environment, is we've mucked it up, we've crapped it up. And so what you want to do is you want to take corrective measures as best as you can. And this is why a nutritional supplement program is so important. We'll talk about the metals and why the metals and the heavy metals can be so important. The heavy metals being detox metals, a lot of them anyway, are involved in detox. I think the best way to detox, by the way, is to use nutrition and to use probiotics. I don't necessarily go with the detox formulas. Nutrition is the best way to detox, and of course, not putting the toxin in the first place is the best way to detox, is ultimately the best way to detox. All right, let's see. All right, let's just go to the phones here. 844-236-6010 is our number, and we do have lines open. Let's see what Natalie in Maryland has to say. I think I know who you are, Natalie. Have I spoken to you before?
Yeah, of course. Hey, Ben, how are you?
It's been a while, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been quite a while. I've been trying to figure things out on my end and experiment and do so much, and I just have so much to tell you.
Okay, now I remember we talked about skin, and it's been a couple years, I think, correct?
Yeah. So I've had acne for quite some time. I want to say. So I'm 30 now. I've had it since, I want to say, 22, and they took my gallbladder out and made it worse around that time. So ever since then, I just never felt the same, unfortunately. And had acne, and then I found out about your show. I think when I was 25-ish time or whatever, and I just fell in love, and I was just like, this makes so much sense. You know, this is just like common sense kind of stuff that is simple and easy to understand and know. And like all these doctors, like WellHo, you know, they're giving me all these like medications. And like, it just didn't feel right. And anyway, so I started your show, and I've been doing the food diary, and that's helped so much. So I eliminated so much food, and I'm fairly thin. I'm not like super, you know, stick or anything like that. But it's definitely led me to more of a thinner kind of physique, which is good.
Less body fat, kind of less body fat.
Right. I mean, yeah, less body fat, especially around the midsection. Size, and it just slimmed me down.
What did you find out? What did you find out from the food diary?
I found out that certain foods were triggering pretty much acne, like cysts, and also I figured out some, you know, it was just sluggish in many ways. Like certain foods would make me feel very sluggish and weak, and
and you didn't know before you did the diary. Before you, I don't mean to interrupt. Sorry. Before you did the diary, those weren't things that you would have noticed. In other words, the diary made you pay more attention. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Right. It did.
Awesome.
But being before the whole diary thing, I've always noticed this is like, why do I not feel right? Why is it that I have so much mucus? Or why is it that this happens to me? And then once I started the food diary, I was like, oh, this stuff is clearing up. It's working. And
that's
so
pretty amazing.
Yeah,
now you had hyperpigmentation, dark spots too, right? Was that you?
Yeah. Yes, I do. And I notice that sometimes when I cheat and I just go like, well, it's just one day, whatever, I end up going back to the same sort of like breakout that I probably would have never had if I never cheated.
Hey, hang on. I want to ask you a few more questions. All right, Natalie? We got to take a commercial, so hang on. Don't go away. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Got lines open, 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. You're listening to The Bright Side. We will return right after this. We are back on The Bright Side, 844-236-6010. Got lines open. We're talking to Natalie from Maryland. Just, hey, Natalie, just to like give some history here. You and I had talked about 3 or 4 years ago, and we would talk periodically every little bit, every few months about your skin, right? And you were breaking out. And I always think whenever I hear about breakouts, I'm always obviously, you know, thinking internally. And so we put you on some internal strategies. And now I'm hearing from your food diary, you're starting to find out all kinds of stuff. So continue on with your story here.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, vitamins really help so much. And so, I got on that. I started taking lecithin with coffee, and I noticed that coffee was just a little too heavy on my stomach, so it's just like I stopped with that. Now,
you took lecithin with the coffee, did you say? You had lecithin, and did that help? Lecithin's more for fats.
I feel like it helped with less oily on my skin, and I feel like it helped me in some sort of way. And I didn't.
Why did you have your gallbladder taken out? I'm sorry, don't mean to interrupt. Why did you have your gallbladder taken out?
You know, it was just so unfortunate. Maybe it was one of those days with bad luck. I've always, I want to say, since I guess I was a teen, I've always kind of complained about having stomach aches, and I think it was my mother who helped me with, you know, going to doctors, and they actually tried to prescribe me an H. pylori medication, which I did take.
What did they give you? Amoxicillin? Was it amoxicillin?
Something like that, yeah. So I've always complained about my digestion, and it was obviously my immune system. And my diet back then with, you know, family, it's never been good. It was always the same foods I'm allergic to now that I don't ever eat anymore that caused so much issue. And that's what it was. It was a chicken, it was a rice, it was that kind of stuff where we ate that kind of things like almost daily. Just living that kind of life.
And what supplements were you taking, or are you taking?
Right now, I'm taking vitamin C. I'm taking vitamin A. I'm taking zinc. I'm taking what else? Sometimes the B complex. I was taking lecithin about a week ago. Sometimes I take enzymes. I take the ultimate enzymes. Those do help, but I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's just too much sometimes. So I
too many supplements.
So it's a little too much sometimes because I don't want to do it.
What do you mean by too much? You're taking too many different supplements.
Like I'm taking vitamin A and zinc and vitamin C like on a Monday and a Wednesday and a Friday. Sometimes I take it like on a Monday and a Friday.
Okay.
Just because I like I mentioned to you, once I started listening to your show 5 years ago or so, I would do vitamins every single day. Like I would never skip one day.
How did you know what to take? How did you know what to take?
Because I would listen to your show. I would buy the Beyond Tangerine, the BTT. So I bought that. I took that. I also got like the B complex with niacin, pantothenic acid, good for oily skin. So I kind of remember all this stuff is in the back of my mind. I would take all these pills, so to speak, but I don't want to say pills, I guess vitamins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like after a while, I felt maybe it's good to just kind of wean off. And I tried the wean off a little bit. So like, take it Monday and then Friday, and then like, or maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that kind of way. And I guess there wasn't a big difference in that. So anyway, I decided to do intermittent fasting.
Okay.
And I feel like that helps so much.
How many? Tell me about that. How many days? How did you do it?
Okay, so I was just decided one day. I was just like, I'm going to wake up. I'm not going to eat until like a certain time. And it was painful, but it was. I guess I have will.
You were motivated.
Really
You had motivation You had a motivation to do it.
Right, and it was just like, well, if it doesn't work out, I have tomorrow. And so I just tried it out. It was more like I really care about my health so much, to a point where
Good for you.
I would try anything for it. And I just want to feel good, and I just want to look good as well. And it really helps to know that there is a way to do that. There is a way. It's like you don't have to settle for not feeling good, and you don't have to, live that kind of way when you don't have to, if that makes any sense.
That makes a lot of sense. That's wise words. Definitely wise words from a young lady. So what are you using on your skin? What are you using topically?
So I'm using your Truth Treatment skin products.
Okay.
I brought the vitamin retinol 5% gel.
How do you like? Tell me about how are you using the retinol 5%? Because that's pretty intense, right?
Yeah, actually, before that, I actually went to a dermatologist to get a tretinoin cream.
Right.
Before you had
retinoic acid, right?
Retinoic, yeah. So I used to use that, and I think it was like 1% or something. And I noticed when I used, I guess, their formula, I would use it a little too much, so my face would be a little dry and it'd be kind of flaky. But once I started using your products, or the Retinol 5, I didn't notice any of that.
Nice.
I think maybe I got kind of like geared into, maybe my skin was like more flexible at this point, having to use already.
How often did you use it?
I use it almost every other day.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive, Natalie. You're using the Truth Retinol 5% gel every other day.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
your skin must be glowing. Your skin must be glowing.
Oh my gosh. There's like so many other things I kind of want to fix as far as marks and from the acne. But,
right, but the tissue is healthy. The skin tissue must look really good.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm trying my best, and I think I need to have a little bit more confidence in that. But
What are you washing with?
I do have a question.
What do you wash with?
What I wash with?
Yeah.
I wash with like your Sanitas. I think it was the glycolic citrus. Sometimes I use salicylic acid.
Okay.
Like the Neutrogena brand. I use it like every other 3 days. I don't use it too much.
Well, ask me. I'm going to run out of time here.
Ask
me your question. If you had a question,
okay,
you said.
Okay, so since I'm a sweet tooth and I just love chocolate so much, and I just love just chocolate. I mean, I could have dark chocolate all day long. But anyway, what kind of protein would you recommend? So that
a couple things. Meat protein, if you're eating meat, is probably the best anti-sweet protein. The branched chain amino acids and minerals together in meat are really very satisfying. So that's why you don't eat it. That's why it's hard to eat, overeat meat. And it's also why it has
doesn't it bring acidity to your, to your blood system?
No, not quite. Proteins tend to be acid. That's true. But no, everything's broken down in your digestive system, in your stomach, if you're healthy. And then by the time it makes it your intestine, it's not really, the acid alkaline value of food is not really significant, with the exception of maybe the minerals, which are alkalinizing. But really, acid alkaline balance doesn't come in from food. To a slight extent, but very little. And mostly it's alkalinizing. The minerals are alkalinizing. But nonetheless, it's the most anti-sugar or anti-sweet foods you could eat. Eggs, typically high-protein foods that have the branched chain amino acids and minerals and fats. That's what you're looking for, the combination.
Here's the thing. I can't have eggs, and I can't have whey protein. Yeah. Okay. I can't have any of those things. Just trigger my mucus. And
get yourself glutamine powder. Get glutamine powder.
Okay.
Get collagen peptides. Do glutamine powder and collagen peptides, or just even gelatin. Glutamine. Problem with gelatin is you can't find an organic real. Well, you can find organic gelatin. Hydrolyzed collagen. In fact, they use hydrolyzed collagen as a weight loss supplement. There's a lot of companies that got hip to the idea that when people eat a lot of these peptides, these collagen peptides, these connective tissue peptides that I'm talking about, they lose weight. Now, there's several reasons for that, but a lot of it's water weight that they lose. But nonetheless, these kinds of peptides, branched chain amino acids, gelatin peptides, the glutamine, that's what I'd be going with, and also essential fatty acids. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a great little conversation there. Thank you for sharing all that. I appreciate it. I'm glad you called, Natalie. All right, have a good day. We got to go.
Okay.
Stay in touch. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for listening to The Bright Side. Check out our websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com for the longevity products, and truthtreatments.com for our Truth Skin Health products. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.